Good evening. You're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Saraya Mia. The government launched the revamped Malaysian Code of Ethics for journalists. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil promises that the new code will not restrict press freedom, but serve as a guideline for media companies to carry out their duties.
Kalau kita tidak mendepani zaman, maka kita akan dibelakangi. Jadi saya harap dengan ada kod etika ini, prinsip seperti kebebasan bersuara itu memang kita akan pertahankan dan ia termaktub dalam perlembagaan. Tapi masa yang sama perlu ada satu peningkatan kesedaran dan skill kemahiran di kalangan wartawan untuk mendepani zaman, termasuk dalam isu AI dan media sosial.
Fahmi added that the Malaysian Media Council Bill was in the final stages of preparation. Its functions would include overseeing the registration of journalists and ensuring compliance with set standards. He said that as of February 16th, a total of 9,750 media practitioners from 152 organizations held media certification cards from the Information Department.
The Media Council in Malaysia should be independent, according to a member of Indonesia's Press Council, Tri Agong Kristanto. He said the entity should serve the people and journalists without any form of interference from the government.
Media atau pers di Indonesia merdeka tentu pertama-tama juga Dewan Persnya juga harus independen. Karena independen itulah di Indonesia ada dua sejarah mengenai Dewan Pers yang sebelumnya, sebelum reformasi adalah Dewan Pers yang dibentuk oleh pemerintah, di mana ketuanya adalah Menteri Penerangan, yang kemudian ada pelaksana harian sebagai melaksanakan organisasi. Tetapi setelah reformasi tahun 1998, berdasarkan Undang-Undang Pers tadi, nomor 40 tahun 1999, dibentuk Dewan Pers yang independen. Di dalam Dewan Pers yang independen di Indonesia, tidak lagi ada unsur pemerintah. Yang ada adalah unsur masyarakat, unsur organisasi wartawan atau jurnalis, dan unsur organisasi perusahaan pers. Masing-masing punya 3 perwakilan di Dewan Pers, dan sehingga anggota Dewan Pers di Indonesia adalah 9 orang, mewakili 3 unsur tadi, dan pemerintah atau negara mensupport untuk kegiatan-kegiatan Dewan Pers dengan pendanaan terutama untuk program dan gaji karyawan yang bertugas di Dewan Pers.
Meanwhile, Syed Iskandar Shah from Indonesian Journalists Association stressed the need for all journalists to band together in order to demand for the establishment of the Media Council.
Masyarakat pers Malaysia harus punya keinginan dan semangat dulu untuk bersatu. Jadi seluruh wilayah-wilayah berkeinginan, bersemangat untuk bersatu. Kalau itu sudah, langkah kedua adalah masuk pada regulasinya. Aturan hukum yang berlaku di sana. Memungkinkan nggak untuk dibentuk suatu organisasi profesi ya wartawan ini. Kalau itu mungkin, ya silakan dibentuk, dan itu saya yakin manfaatnya pasti lebih banyak. Untuk profesi kita, untuk keselamatan kerja kita, dan untuk menjaga marwah, menjaga kemuliaan pekerjaan ini.
Earlier, the government announced that the media bill will be tabled in Parliament latest by March.
Meanwhile, Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli denies claims that the government's central database hub Padu was breached. This follows reports of an alleged attack by a hacker group that had stolen 27 terabytes worth of data from the system.
Screenshots posted on Telegram showed that the group was referring to the National Population and Family Development Board's Management and Service Delivery Unit, which was also known as PADU. In a statement, PADU also confirmed that information in the news report was false. It reiterated that the database would not compromise the security of people's data and urged the public to stop spreading false information.
The recent performance of the ringgit does not reflect the positive outlook for the Malaysian economy going forward, according to Bank Negara Malaysia. BNM Governor Dato Abdul Rashid Ghaffur maintains that growth in 2024 will be driven by improvements in external demand and strong domestic spending.
He said the current level of the ringgit was influenced by external factors, including the market's adjustment to changing US interest rate expectations, geopolitical concerns, and uncertainty around China's economic prospects. However, he noted that the tourism sector had rebounded strongly and investment momentum had picked up, forecasting that the ringgit would appreciate this year. The local currency has fallen nearly 4% this year. As of 9 a.m. on Tuesday, the ringgit was down to 4.78 to the US dollar. It is 2% away from reaching 4.88 to the US dollar, a level last seen in 1998 during the Asian financial crisis.
Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad is conscious and not in critical condition, according to his close aide, refuting claims on social media. The former Prime Minister is being treated at the National Heart Institute (IJN) and is in the process of recovering from an infection. However, his aide said Dr. Mahathir's team could not provide a specific time frame for his discharge until IJN is satisfied with his recovery progress. On February 13th, it was reported that Dr. Mahathir would be taking a period of rest following treatment at IJN for an infection on January 26. His health status became apparent during proceedings for his defamation suit against Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi the previous week. We'll take a quick break. Stay tuned for more.
Saat yang dinantikan telah tiba. Malam kemuncak meraihkan anugerah digital terpaling trending. Nantikan penampilan istimewa Caleb Scott dan Melly Goslaw serta persembahan para penghibur popular tanah air. Bersama penyampai-penyampai terkenal. Gempa Most Wanted Awards 2023 secara langsung 25 Februari 9 malam di Astro dan Astro Go. Siapakah Gempa Most Wanted 2023? Anda yang akan menentukannya. Layari www.gempamostwantedaward.com sekarang untuk mengundi Gempa Most Wanted Award terpaling trending.
Welcome back. Indonesia celebrated the 78th National Press Day at Ancol, Jakarta today to honor journalists and media figures. Their President Joko Widodo also announced a decree obligating media giants to give a portion of their income to local media companies. Astro AWANI correspondent Farhana Sheikh, together with the President of the Association of Malaysian Indonesia Journalists, ISWAMI for Malaysia, discuss more.
I'm here in Ancol, Jakarta to celebrate the National Press Day in Indonesia. This is the day that celebrates the achievement of the media practitioners, journalists that are working hard to ensure the press freedom here in Indonesia. And it is the same that we have in Malaysia with Hawana, but here today it's a very much larger scale with over 6,000 participants here for the National Press Day or Hari Pers 2024 in Indonesia. Right, today with us we have the Malaysian delegation here visiting as part of the ISWAMI, Jejak Seruput ISWAMI program, which is the Ikatan Setiakawan Malaysia, Wartawan Malaysia dan Indonesia. And with us is our own president, Ashar Ismail, to talk more about the event just now. Right, thank you so much, Ash, for joining us. How was the event just now?
Well, I guess in short, as expected, President Joko Widodo touched on the most pressing issues within the realm of the media fraternity, not just in Malaysia but globally, but not just in Indonesia, Malaysia, but also globally, which is the contestation, the point of contestation between the platform owners of the digital players, the global digital players, and the likes of Meta and the rest of them, and also the local publishers. And as expected, President Jokowi, in a way, has outlined the framework that touch on three key areas. Number one is to make sure the business of the media itself, the local publishers, can maintain and sustain the business. Second, continue to grow the realm of journalism and high quality of journalistic sphere. And thirdly, most important, it's not just about the contestation between the giants, the tech giants, which control more than 70% of the cake, and among the local publishers like fighting for the 30% of the cake. But most importantly, not just that. Most important is to manage to find the one key important agreement between all parties, at least a framework that how to move forward after 3 years of a negotiation as well as discussion.
Right, there you go. That's Astro Ismail, President of Iswami and also Editor-in-Chief for Astro AWANI.
Thank you.
Here to celebrate with us Hari Pers Nasional, or the National Press Day at Ancol, Jakarta. I'm Fahmi Fadzil. For more, visit Astro AWANI.
More than 1,600 junior doctors in South Korea walked off the job today to protest against a government plan to admit more students to medical schools in a bid to ease the country's shortage of doctors. The full extent of the walkout is not yet known, but it has caused some hospitals to delay or postpone surgeries.
There are currently only 2.5 doctors per 1,000 people in South Korea, which is one of the lowest doctor-to-patient ratios among major economies. In a bid to ease the shortage, the government plans to increase the number of medical school slots by 2,000 from the current 3,058 from next year. Nearly 6,500 junior doctors, about half the junior workforce, have handed in their resignations in protest. The doctors have claimed that the government is failing to address fundamental problems such as difficult working conditions, a shortage of specialists in fields considered lower paying, and a concentration of doctors in urban areas. But observers say doctors are concerned about increased competition. South Korea has a highly privatized healthcare system, with most procedures tied to insurance payments. Its doctors are also among the best paid in the world and could see their earning power fall if there are more doctors to treat patients.
Meanwhile, Australia plans to build its largest navy since World War II and boost defense spending by an additional $7 billion. The plan will see the Royal Australian Navy boost its fleet of major warships to 26 over the next decade.
Australia said it would add on 20 destroyers and frigates, as well as 6 surface warships that can operate with sailors on board or independently as drones. The surface vessels would join a fleet of nuclear-powered submarines that Australia has already planned to build under the AUKUS Pact with the US and UK, of which the first of 3 are expected to be delivered early next decade. The announcement follows heightened tensions with China in the Indo-Pacific. Under the plan, the country would also increase its defense spending to 2.4% of its gross domestic product, above the 2% target set by its NATO allies.
Lawyers for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange are launching what could be his final bid to fight extradition to the US to face trial for leaking military secrets. The 2-day hearing at the High Court in London will weigh up whether Assange should be allowed a full appeal. If the court refuses, it would clear the way for him to be flown to the US.
The 52-year-old Australian faces charges in the US after WikiLeaks in 2020 released hundreds of military files from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Among them was footage of a US helicopter gunning down 11 civilians in Baghdad, including 2 Reuters journalists. Assange's supporters say he exposed wrongdoing, but the US says he put lives at risk. Assange took refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in London for 7 years before being arrested by the police in 2019. A judge in London initially blocked Assange's transfer to the US on the grounds that he was likely to kill himself if held in harsh American prison conditions. Britain finally approved his extradition to the US in 2022 after American authorities provided assurances over his treatment. Assange could face life in prison if convicted of spying charges.
That wraps up AWANI Tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Saraya Mia, and we'll see you again.